Welcome. Let's start with our opening prayer. O great Spirit, Father Sky, Mother Earth, the winds, the waters, my Father, my Mother, Atanaha, all that is. We thank you for our lives and we thank you for these good people. We thank you for all that we are and all that we are to become. We dedicate our time spent together and our relationships with one another to you. We ask that our suffering be ended and our pain be lifted to the love and to the peace that lay beyond. Aho, Amen, Namaste. Okay, so first question is from Christina. She's saying, hi, Sky. I'd love a healing on my bladder, infection and insights on what needs love so it can go. It's day 5 now and still symptoms. First time I have had one. I feel my kidneys too. I haven't been to the doctor yet. I worked already on anger and forgiveness, boundaries, receiving, pleasure, intimacy, love. Without needing to be punished for it. Any insights and healings are highly welcomed. Thank you. Okay, so let me just tune in. We're going to call in your angels as well, particular Archangel Michael, Mother Mary, Mary Magdalene. So as I'm tuning into your bladder, I can literally see Archangel Raphael holding your bladder. It's like it's crying. So it's like you're not letting yourself grieve. There's this energy of like forcing yourself to be strong and not letting yourself really connect with how hurt you were. There's like a part of you that doesn't want to have been this hurt, that doesn't want them to have that much power over you, that doesn't want them to have been able to get to you this much. And it's like the organ is like crying. It's like I'm holding the bladder, it's like sobbing in my hands. So I'm just pulling that light straight down from Creator and flooding it in. And bladder infections, gosh, something I struggled with so much in my teens, in my 20s. And it genuinely comes from engaging in sexual activity with a person who just isn't in alignment with your soul. You know it's not right for you. It's not what you really want. And then there's a deep belief that you have to, like a deep anger there, that this is the only way to relate to men. And it's so common in our generation because we've kind of been told that you have to be with a man after 2 or 3 dates, which is completely not true and completely inaccurate and completely historically incorrect for how women sexually and emotionally bond. But that's what we get told, that if we don't put out, then they don't connect with us, or they'll move on to somebody else. But there's deep sadness, deep, like sobbing level of sadness. So we're just going to move that sadness with the help of Archangel Raphael. And we're also going to increase your self-worth so that you know that your sexuality should not be on the table, right? That you can say your desire. My desire is for marriage. My desire is for committed relationship. My desire is for something serious, and that you do not have to use your sexuality or your self-worth as a bargaining chip, right? And it's okay to grieve that you were taught that. It's okay to grieve the years and the sexual encounters that you got involved in that just aren't for you. So I hope that helps. Okay. And then off we go. Time. Okay, Gabrielle is saying, Dear Sky, can you please help me with my panic attacks? They seem to appear every time I try to fall asleep. What could be the cause? Many thanks. Okay, so I'm going to ask your angels to come in and do a body scan, but I'm not a mental health professional, so you need to go and get support from a qualified therapist as well. Okay, let me do a proper deep body scan and we'll see what comes up. So immediately they're taking me to your heart, and it's like a feeling of I'm trapped and this really deep helplessness. And your angels are showing me that this is coming from like inner child trauma, like this feeling of I'll never escape. I'm never going to be financially free. I'm never going to get out of this situation. Like the suffering is permanent beliefs. And that you're disconnected from exactly how stressful and how toxic this situation is because of the denial that you're in. So I'm going to get Archangel Michael and Archangel Raphael to come in here. I'm also getting Archangel Uriel coming in really strong. And we're just going to send so much unconditional love to that inner child and do a broken heart healing. So we're just going to start spinning this heart chakra anti-clockwise to just remove this lie that it's permanent. Nothing is permanent. Change is the ultimate law of the universe, right? Nothing is permanent. So suffering is always ends. There we go. And we're just going to keep shifting this learned helplessness as well. And shift it back into the truth that you may not have had control as a child, but that is not you anymore. You do have control over your choices as an adult. And you get to choose differently. You get to do things differently. And you also get to grieve. Like, when we believe a lie for a long time, we lose opportunities, we lose time and space, and the ego tries to trick us. It's like, oh, you're never going to get that stuff back. The angels want you to know that every opportunity that you miss because you believed a lie or because of a trauma is held in trust for you by God, and that you can still access it at any other point. Regret is one of those energies that can really keep you trapped. So let's just clear resentments, rejections, regrets for a minute. Ooh, and jealousy is like, why do I have to deal with this and other people don't? And shift it to, I know that all of my opportunities are held in trust for me by the universe. What's meant for me will not pass me by. Abundance is available to me. Love is available to me. My dream life is available to me. And I'm choosing it now. I'm claiming it now. Okay. Okay. Love Sunshine is saying, wanted to say a huge thank you for your help over the months. You're welcome, beautiful. It gave me so much hope and growing opportunities whilst I was job hunting and dealing with a lot of things, including a difficult breakup. Aho, darling, there's angels are here and they're there to help everybody, and you can always call on them. And these readings from people like Doreen Virtue and Charles Virtue and many others helped me when I was in those difficult circumstances. So I'm really honored to have been able to be there for you. Oh, getting there. Okay. Aisha's saying, hi Sky, can you please scan my stomach and let me know the root cause of digestive issues, stomach bloating? It's a constant issue. I think it might be a food intolerance. Any insights? Okay, so I'm going to bring in Archangel Raphael and ask for instant healing on the stomach. When your stomach is not right, you want to look at things in life that you can't stomach, things that you can't break down, emotions that you can't digest. So the stomach is the place where you break down life and take the aspects that you need, and then the intestines and the colon are the place where you release the stuff that is not of use to you, right? You've absorbed everything that you need, and then you're releasing the past, basically, right? But the stomach is the place like where if you're having stomach issues, it's a sign of a lot of worry, like a lot of worry, and it's a sign of not being able to break it down, like not being able to make sense of it, and therefore avoiding and bypassing. Worry often comes from believing you don't have the skills to solve a problem or solve a situation, right? So we're just getting so much additional love into your stomach. When it comes to bloating, you want to look at things. So food intolerances come from leaky gut. Leaky gut is a sign that your gut wall is so inflamed, right? That literally bits of food are getting into your bloodstream, and then your immune system is attacking the bits of food and the parasites and the viruses and stuff that are escaping through the gut wall into your blood. And then becomes a vicious cycle of more inflammation. So if you are facing bloating, you want to do a pesticide cleanse. So start taking activated charcoal every day. You want to do probiotics and prebiotics. You want to be taking digestive enzymes with every single meal to make sure that your food is getting broken down and digested properly, because it's one of the number one reasons of long-term gut problems is that we're not breaking down the food properly, and then it's going undigested into the gut tract. And Activated charcoal is actually going to help a lot with the gas because it absorbs the gas and the bloating, and it's going to pull out a lot of the heavy metals. It's going to pull out a lot of the the pesticides and things that you're getting in your food. But your angels are basically saying that you need to shift your diet. It's time. You're a higher vibration. Your body's telling you these foods are no longer working for you. They're not working for your mental health. They're not working for your spiritual vibration. And that you need to start being brave and really facing these emotions instead of running from these emotions. Hope that helps. Lots of love. Okay. Where are we? Okay, so Ali K saying, hi Skylar, thank you so much for your guidance yesterday about me and moving for my career and my partner as well. I was wondering if there's any more messages my guides have for me. Okay, let's tune into Ali. Okay, Ali, they're taking me straight into your solar plexus and into your sacral and base, because solar plexus is closed and sacral and base are like numb. So they're showing me that you're kind of like drifting through life, that you're not like, it's almost like, I would go as far as saying you probably have an invisible child wound. There's an energy of you don't really get to exist. You just have to get things done, and your worth comes from the things that you get done. So the message from your guides is to let yourself be visible, let yourself be seen, heard, and understood. Open up these lower chakras so that you can fully ground into the earth, and so that you can take up space, and that you do have a right to exist. You do have a right to feelings and opinions um, and a voice. And it's very important to give those parts of yourself a voice. I'm not sure if you're shutting them down because you're afraid of them, or if you're shutting them down because you think that it's wrong to have feelings like anger or fear. Or, but the only way to deal with feelings is to, like, that you don't want to have, is to give them to God and to feel them until they're gone. Repressing feelings just means they get locked inside the body, and then long term they cause disease and a dysregulated nervous system and all kinds of immune problems. So it's very important that, if you don't want to express out loud, if you don't feel that you're in an environment where it's safe for you to talk about how you really feel, then your journal is your best friend and prayer is your best friend. But there's this real communication coming through. We need to unblock the lower chakras so that you can fully ground into the earth, so you can fully take up the space that you're worthy of taking up, and that you can remember that you are this loving, beautiful, powerful child of God. It's almost like you've given up on the universe. So we're going to call in the angels and just help clear the energy. Just say yes if you want this as well, guys. Clear the energy around forgetting who you are and giving away your power, and any seeds of bitterness that have been planted by these negative experiences. Let's remove it now. God isn't doing this to you. The universe isn't doing this to you. When things mismanifest, it's a magnifying glass on the places where you're unconsciously blocking God's love from entering. It's not punishment. It's not some like cruel trick the universe plays. It's genuinely that you are not aware of the places that you're blocking God's love from shining into your life. So just let's ask for a miracle and give permission for these unconscious blocks to be removed. Good. Beautiful. That's clearing up really nicely. Okay. Next person. Do, 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 do. Do, 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 do. Okay, so Terry is saying, Dear Mom Sky, would I meet a man for love in the next month? Okay, let me do a scan. Okay, I'm actually getting the romance angels coming in here thick and fast, and I'm getting a very strong yes. So this is kind of like preparation time. This is like the haircut and the waxing and the nails and the making yourself really gorgeous energy, the making yourself really attractive energy, because this soulmate is coming in and they're coming in soon. And there's this whole like strong high vibe spring sexual energy and this boost that's coming in. There, you've done a lot of clearing. They're showing me you've been doing a lot of clearing around this, and you've really up leveled to be able to pull in somebody who is a provider, to be able to pull in somebody who actually really you are enough for, and they can really cherish you as you are. So they're really like recognizing you and validating you and saying, you know, we've been watching the work that you've been doing around relationships. We're here to guide you. They're like, and we're back to this energy of, you know, open heart, strong boundaries. So that's really, really important, because when you're coming from a place of healing old trauma, it's when you're in trauma, the energy is closed heart and armor up. So like walls and walls and walls, and nobody gets close to you. And they could be sitting across the table from you, but actually they're on the other side of the planet energetically and metaphysically, right? But the energy of healed is similar, and that's why so many people get the two confused. The energy of healed is open heart, boundary up. So you want to really be doing a deep moral inventory into what are my values, what are my hard no's, what are my yeses, so that you can really go into these dates and these experiences with a place of romance and playfulness, but also so that when you're checking in at home after these dates and experiences as to whether or not this person is someone that you can create a life with, this person is someone that you can build an empire with. In the Bible, it says that you should marry somebody or be with somebody that you could go to war with, right? So those are the things that you're really looking for inside a partner. This is the person that's going to be next to you when you put your parents in the ground, when you lose jobs, when you have health issues. So they really have to be of strong, moral, loving character. It's, please do not go into this with just a, do I fancy them as their chemistry? This has to be a deeper game than this. This has to be a bigger game than this. But they're showing me you've done a lot of clearing work around it. Don't be ashamed of your boundaries. Don't let anybody tell you that you shouldn't have them. They are sacred. They are God-given. Good luck on your dates and with your soulmate. Okay. We're going to help lots and lots of people, and we're not going to get triggered by the tech. Okay. Okay, general reading. Let me grab my cards. Okay. So Nancy's saying, hi Sky, can I have a general reading, please? Yep, let's do it. So I'm getting guided to work with our Jackie Newcomb Angel Secrets cards today. So let's have a look at what comes up. So 1, 2, 3. Okay, so there's some sort of a creativity block going on for you, and the angels are saying, like, you can see this is like shelves and organization and structure. So this is like guidance around divine right order. I can feel Archangel Raphael coming in here and talking about decluttering the home, decluttering the energy, clearing energetically the house, and it's going to help shift whatever creativity block is happening here. Creativity blocks are often the blocks that stop us from innovating, that stop us from being brave enough to be vulnerable, to share something new with our environment. You may be wondering if the stuff that you have is too woo-woo or too out there, and if it's actually going to work. And this is very strong guidance that the angels are inspiring you to create something beautiful, and that you do have it within you to create something beautiful, whether that is a journal or angel cards or a book or a healing program online. There's very strong guidance here that this is needed, and that you've actually been getting guidance to create this for a long time. The second card that's coming up is, we angels delight in helping you with both small and large problems. So this tells me that you are not asking your angels. It tells me that you are like, you know, they're there, but you've kind of stopped asking. So start saying, hey, angels, help me, right? Even with the smallest things, small and consistent is more powerful than everything else. So before you go to bed, ask the angels to protect you, ask the angels to protect your family, ask the angels to protect your business and your projects, ask them to bless and multiply everything, every gift that God has placed inside your heart, right? Declare that every promise that God has placed in you will be fully manifest. And the last card is, love is the solution to all of life's problems. there's, I think, a fear here. You can see this is like a family picture card, and you can see the family inside it. There's a fear here about how the people close to you are going to respond to this new you, how they're going to adapt to this shift in vibration and to this more entrepreneurial energy, but also to this more woo-woo energy. And the angels are saying, start sending them love, but also start sending them codes and downloads and communication, telling them where your vibration is shifting, telling them where you're going energetically and vibrationally, because we tend to shift in vibration, not let anybody know. And it's just as rude as if you moved house in the real world but didn't let your husband and your kids know where you live now. They're looking for you energetically, so just let them know where to find you, and that transition is going to be a lot smoother. Okay. I like the music. Okay. Mattis is saying, hi, beautiful Sky. Thank you for yesterday, for the healing on my niece. She's doing so much better. Much love. Thank you. So we're just going to take a minute to send more unconditional love to your niece. For those of you that weren't here for Mattis's reading yesterday, she had problems with her mouth. She had an injury. She got badly hurt in the mouth. So we're just going to send more unconditional love and instant healing. Anybody else that has injured children that want the healing angels around it, we're just going to take a moment to send it now. If everybody sends healing energy to a nice big ball above my head, we're going to pass it through like the creator portal, so that she gets the same powerful energy from everybody instead of like a million different vibrations. And so that it comes to this little girl in the way that she needs it, in the highest and best way. Okay, that's looking a lot better. Dun, dun, dun. Okay, so Jennifer Morgan saying, would love some guidance on inviting joy and pleasure into my life. Okay, so let's see what the angels have to say. You know what? I've been reading some pretty incredible poetry this morning. Today, I'm going to be very vulnerable here. Today's quite a hard day. I have a very good friend who is was struggling with cancer, and has managed. We worked together to get her into remission, but she is going into surgery today, and I have every faith that the angels and God will work everything out well. But my heart, and she's my friend, so I am definitely. Yeah, I'm human, guys. I go through things too, and I love her so much. So we're gonna use. I've been looking at this book every day to give me courage. So I'm getting guided to use it as a divination tool for you, Jen Morgan. Let's see what comes up around pleasure, because I think it's going to really help. Okay. The poem that came up for you is The Invisible Bee. Look how desire has changed in you. How light and colorless it is, with the world growing new marvels because of your changing. Your soul has become an invisible bee. We don't see it working, but the room is a full honeycomb. Your body's height is 6 feet or so, but your soul rises 9 levels of sky. When I see you, it's not so much your physical form, but the company of 2 riders, your pure fire devotion and your love for the one who teaches you. Then the sun and moon on 1 foot behind those. So the guidance coming from here is actually incredible. It's saying that when it comes to pleasure, most people work on the motions. So they're working on, like dressing sexy, or talking sexy, or dancing sexy, but desire cannot be faked. Pleasure cannot be faked. And these are things, much like falling in love, that God has to give you. So we're going to ask God for an anointing on you, Jennifer, and anybody else that wants that. We're going to ask God for an anointing on your desire, that any places where your pleasure and desire has been destroyed, crushed, discreated, that you are able to recover its sweetness. We're going to like bring in divine honey, because that's what came up in this poem, right? That we don't see your soul working, but there's a full honeycomb. So we don't see God at work because it's supernatural force, but there's a full honeycomb of sweetness. And we're going to pour this God's honey onto your desire center so the desire is rekindled, so that pleasure in life is rekindled, and so that it bears fruit in your life. Okay. Gosh, I'm getting better with tech, but it's still so vulnerable. Aisha saying, you look beautiful, by the way, Sky. Love the short hair. Well, it's just the layers, but I do cut my own layers, so I'm glad you guys like it. Oh, baby's awake from the nap. Okay, hubby's going to go grab him. Okay. Let's do this. Okay, Gravlina is saying, can I have a reading of my energy? Any advice from the guardian, from my guardians on what to do at this time? Okay, let me have a look. So I'm actually immediately being shown that for you, sometimes stillness is the most powerful response. And I remember actually, I remember actually the Queen once saying this, that sometimes the most powerful response is to do nothing. It's not always the case, but I'm really being shown almost like a stork type energy. Like now is the time to watch. Now is the time to kind of be still in the silence and become aware. People are showing you who they really are here. And there's a part of you that part of you that really doesn't want to see it. Part of you that's like, that can't be true. But this is the thing about divine guidance. God shows you what's been said in rooms when you're not there. God shows you someone's true nature, and often it comes out in very small things. So there's this really deep stillness as a defense. And it's in Course in Miracles, it talks about in our defenselessness, our safety lies. And that means it's in the energy of true presence that all darkness becomes dissolved, that all distortions become revealed. And there's a reason why in all kinds of difficult situations, whether you look at the Shaolin monks or whether you look at the the major warriors of the world, there's a reason why they practice meditation. There's a reason why they practice mindfulness, because the unconscious mind can respond so much faster to any attack on any level when it is still, when it's at peace. If you think about a lake or a river, when there's any kind of emotional response, there's waves and you can't see beneath the surface. When you are calm, you can clearly see underneath the surface. You can see what's coming. So it's this energy of become very, very still. There's definitely some kind of spiritual warfare going on. So I'm going to bring in Archangel Michael to just remove any negative energies, any curses, any hexes, any like anywhere where you're absorbing other people's shame, or you're being blocked. And we're just going to shift you into trust that you will be removed from this situation with grace and ease, that something better is coming, and that this is just here to start getting you to put in proper boundaries. Because when you're little, you're kind of told to be friends with everybody, and that's completely bad advice. You need to bring in people who love you as much as you love them and who share the same values as you, not just let anybody in to prove you're a good person. You've got nothing to prove. So we're going to get Archangel Michael to remove this proving wound. I hope that helps, darling. Okay. Okay, Kira is saying, and star, 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 heart. Mini dance in celebration of you. Okay, so we have another UTI coming in here from It's All Connected. She's saying, "Hi Sky, could you please read what could block my root chakra? I have low sex drive. What could actually be causing this? Is this linked to the UTI I've been experiencing? Yes, any illness will lower your sex drive, and distort your perception of the world, because when you're sick, you're tired, your body is focused on healing you instead of focused on connecting with other people. So the first thing I want to say, and your angels are saying very strongly, is um, if you're being pressured to engage in sexual activity whilst you're ill, particularly with a UTI, that is a big sign of, that's not a man, that's a boy, and that's a very selfish partner. Okay. When it comes to the reasons why we manifest UTIs or BV or thrush infections, it's a sign that we are not feeling emotionally seen, met, and understood. And we're asking ourselves to engage in sexual activity as a substitute for that. And it's normally a mirror to a masculine wound. So because men are asked to completely disconnect from their emotions, many men can only experience emotional intimacy during sex, right? And that's why they want it so much, believe it or not. It's not just because it feels good, it's because it's the only time where they're able to experience emotional connection or intimacy without feeling emasculated if they have that kind of childhood trauma. And it's like they're in a desert, because we experience it multiple times a day in normal conversations, but they're only allowed to experience this because of the prison created by their childhood trauma during physical intimacy. So the first step is to really take back your power over your body. You are not you are worthy of love, and that is completely outside of sexuality and physical connection. To increase physical connection, or physical desire, you want to start taking things like Agnus castus, rhodelia. Both of them are adaptogenic herbs that balance both hormones and what's it called, heal the ancient wounds to women's psyche, because women didn't choose who we were married to or who we made love to or whatever. This was chosen for us. So these plants are very good at healing these emotional and spiritual wounds long term. You want to be cutting out as much sugar as possible. Things like Dimanos really help strip bacteria from the ureter as the urine's coming down. And you want to work on being there for yourself, having your own back, instead of thinking, oh, I should be having sex. It's this energy of, I don't owe sex to anybody and I'm unconditionally worthy of love. All right. So we get very mixed messages about sex in our culture. I'm just gonna. So we get very mixed messages about sex in our culture. We get told on the one hand, as women, that we need to keep a man happy sexually so that we don't get cheated on, so that we don't get abandoned, so that we are still relevant in the patriarchy, right? And there's, historically speaking, men were justified in rape as long as they were married. So there's deep wounds in the DNA and in the ancestral line in women around saying no to sex. And many women have been killed or raped just by saying no to sex. There's often a deep fear around consent, right? A deep fear around consent. And this belief that if we just agree, if we're just passive, if we just go into the freeze response around sexuality, even with our intimate partners, that they won't hurt us, that we won't be killed. I know that's not surface level, but you guys are advanced souls. You don't need surface. Sometimes you need to go deep. So I'm really getting Archangel Azadkael coming in here, and I'm getting Archangel Raziel coming in here, because this is looks like a major past life issue to me as well. And we're going to get them to clear this imprint from your past lifetimes where you had no control over who came in your body, over what was done to your body, and it was just sexually objectified, and the rage and the anger around that. So if anyone would like that, just say yes. And this energy of being gaslit and of also being groomed, of oh, women, this is just a woman's lot. This is what women have to put up with. And releasing the grief, releasing this zeitgeist in our collective consciousness. And also this numbness and freeze response around our genitals that then blocks desire, blocks us wanting sexual pleasure, and also stops us from being able to communicate because we stop believing it. If you're gaslit enough, when somebody asks you what you actually like, when someone asks you what you actually want, you know they're not actually asking. You know it's just lip service, or and sometimes even a way for them to feel like a better guy. Or I kid you not, the number of men that I've heard asking their partners, particularly like romantic or intimacy workshops, what they would like in bed, just so they look like they're good in bed to everybody else in the room. And then actually, when you have conversations with these women afterwards in the girls' locker rooms or in the saunas, these guys don't give a damn about what they like. It's just so that they look like they care, just so they look like they're good lovers to the outside world because they're expected to care. So it's all about how it looks. It's not about what the person actually likes or desires at all. And then they often get made fun of afterwards. So it's clearing that gaslighting energy with Archangel Michael so that you can actually express what you want and know that you deserve to have those desires met by a loving partner. I'm going to have a scan all the way down just to see. Okay, so I've got one saying, "Hello, Sky. What has triggered my addictive behaviors? Any advice in healing, please?" Oh, okay. So addictive behaviors, I get your Archangel Michael coming in super strong here and Archangel Raphael. So I want you to just imagine all the substances that you're addicted to in front of you. And we're going to get Archangel Raphael to come in here and just pour golden light. And it's thick. It looks like acid toothpaste on top of these cords, right? That are like hooked into your solar plexus and hooked into your sacral chakra. And we're just going to breathe as these get removed. Now, this is a learned helplessness wound. One of the biggest things that happen in childhood trauma is particularly with like yelling or screaming trauma, is that we feel like we're out of control, right? And then because we feel like we can't control our own emotions and we can't regulate our own emotions, we try and control things with things outside of ourselves. The seat of emotions is the stomach and the sacral, solar plexus and sacral. And when you overeat, you're like numbing down the feelings. When you do like drugs, you're numbing down those feelings because you feel like you can't regulate those emotions. You're trying to control things. You're trying to control the feelings with things outside of you, and it not only does it not work, it makes it worse because the longer the nervous system is dysregulated, the harder it becomes to regulate it. So we're going to ask Archangel Raphael to come in and do a healing on your nervous system, and to give you the courage to go to things like Addicts Anonymous, and actually look at adult children of abusive families or narcissistic families so that you can learn how to regulate your emotions. Look at books on gentle parenting because that will show you what you should have received and how to parent your inner child in a way that's actually loving, and still has strong boundaries. There we go. But it's better to cry than it is to let the addictions control you. So if you are suddenly having the addictions triggered, it's because something hurt you. And it's like a domino effect, right? You've switched from one neural pathway to another, where now the addiction is the only way to control the emotions. From a metaphysical perspective, when you're dealing with an addiction, it's not about the food, it's not about the drugs, it's not about the sex, it's not about the porn, it's not about the video games. It's about a deep fear that you have lost control over your internal world and over your capacity to experience happiness. And you're deeply, deeply afraid that you may never experience joy again, may never experience love again, may never be able to trust again. And the pain of that then manifests as grabbing a substance instead of grabbing God. So we're just going to pull in God's energy straight into you and anchor you back into God and give you the faith to work through this and to get the support for this. Okay. Okay. Mattis is saying, thank you, thank you, thank you. You're welcome, beautiful. Hira is saying, thank you for the reading. You're really, really welcome, guys. Monica's saying the purest love and healing to your friend, Sky. Aho, beautiful. Aho. I hope you get good news soon and you start feeling more at ease. Yeah, fingers, hearts, all toes crossed. Okay. Maria is saying, Dear Sky, can I get a healing for my sleepless nights? Yeah. So let's call in Archangel Michael. I'm getting called to ask to call in Archangel Zadkiel as well. And they're like, I'm also seeing like plant medicine come in. So Rhodelia is coming in really strong there. When I'm doing a body scan, they're showing me really elevated cortisol levels. So they're showing me that first thing in the morning when you get out of bed, please go straight outside or leave your curtains open so that you're getting sunlight first thing in the morning. And it's going to really help to lower your cortisol levels and help you start creating the right levels of melatonin at nighttime. They're showing me that to go for a walk first thing in the morning before any screens because it's causing your dopamine levels to get all kinds of dysregulated to the extent that I think you may have like I'm not a mental health professional, but they're showing me some kind of high functioning depression that you may want to go and see a therapist for. Um, and they're showing me that this is going to really help balance it out. So first thing in the morning, you're going to have natural light for at least the first hour. You're going to get outside and go for a walk, right? Just a walk because your cortisol levels are really high. So I don't want you doing anything high intensity cardio. I just want you to go for a nice walk because we're regulating and bringing down the cortisol levels and putting your body and your nervous system into rest, repair, and renew. And they're showing me that that's then going to help with your melatonin levels and your sleep at night. They're also showing me it's really important for you to have a sleep routine. So let's say around 7 p.m. at night, you're putting your phone in a different room, you're journaling so that you can dump all the negative emotions and doing your forgiveness exercises for the day so you're not carrying that into the next day. You're then like having a warm bath and lighting a candle and doing your prayers or meditation, and then you're going into bed with a clean soul as well as a clean body and a clean mind. But they're really showing me like do not expose yourself to blue light after 7 p.m. at night. And if you have to, like if you have no choice for work or whatever, you want to be getting yourself a set of blue light glasses. I bought a pack of like 7 2 years ago, and I still use them all the time. And it's very important if you have to be around blue light, even TV at night. But ideally, you want to be shifting away from that. You want to be having a routine that's helping you regulate your nervous system, your whole circadian rhythm, your whole endocrine system is based on the light of the sun and it regulates based on the light of the sun. So when your hormones are off, especially if you're not getting enough time outside and you're feeling a high level of stress and you're not sleeping well, we're just going to do an energetic vacuum on the worry. But it's very important to get out in nature first thing in the morning, and it's very important to implement practical steps because, like Course in Miracles says, love is practical. So I also just want to say this as an extra is that sometimes when we're facing darkness or evil in our lives, that it attacks our sleep. And this is because sleep is one of the most powerful medicines. Sleep is the place where we restore, where we renew, where we repair. There is no medicine we have currently more powerful than sleep. I kid you not, right? For healing your body. So it's very important that you have systems in place where you are not receiving, nasty text messages or posts or things like that late at night. It's very important that you set that boundary. Okay. Okay. Okay, so Monica saying, Hi Sky, I'm trying to become more independent and financially free. What is something I need to do ASAP, but I'm unaware and I'm not doing it? That would make the most significant change in my situation. So there's two things they're showing me. One is that you're not aware of the value of what your spiritual gifts, right? And one of the things that the darkness kind of haunts us with is like, I'll never make enough money as a psychic, I'll never make enough money as a healer, I'll never make enough money as a spiritual teacher, right? It kind of haunts it in the background. How wrong that is insane. I make more money as a healer and a teacher than I ever made, even with a law degree in a job, right? But that's one of the things that it haunts us with. But when you don't believe that your spiritual gifts have value, then you're not going to communicate that value to other people. So that's the first thing, is start talking about the results that you get for people. When people work with you, right, as a spiritual healer, what is it that you're clearing? What blocks is it that you're addressing? How did that manifest inside their life? Start talking about it. I did almost 10 years of healings before I ever talked to anybody outside of a very small inner circle, normally only with the client, about the benefits of what happened in the session. I never talked to anybody outside of that, right? Partly because I felt it was boasting, and partly because I was afraid people would see me as crazy or like woo woo. But if people don't know what you do, then they won't buy, right? They need to know that what you do, and they need to feel that if it's the right resonance for them. So the angels are saying it's important to start talking about the miracles that you work, start talking about the things that you do, like every day, start talking about it every day. And the other thing that they're showing me is that you need to kind of, and we can do some codes and downloads for this, but you need to upgrade from this job salary monthly income into this consistent abundant flow where money can come to you anytime, in any place, because we're kind of conditioned that money comes in once a month when our salary gets paid, until you kind of shift out of that money can come in while you sleep, money can come in all the time, money can come in 24 hours a day. That you need to shift out of this vibration of I'm exchanging my work or my service for money, and move into this shift of money comes to me, and money is my birthright, and I'm blessing the world whether I'm in the room or not, right? So your miracles don't stop working because the session finished, right? They keep going. They travel the world sometimes. So your worth is not defined by the hour that you spent with that person. Okay, what is someone's health worth? What is giving someone abundance codes worth? It's millions and millions and millions that you don't understand are inside you. So let's just bring in those codes to shift that for you. I've started putting these up, like these little shorts up that I'm making out of the angel readings when I'm working with you guys yesterday, and I'm not used to the sheer wave of response, because I know you guys, but this is like a whole new audience as well. And they in America, the new word is like I'm claiming it, so they're like claim, 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 and I'm like, okay. You can claim it. It's our way of saying like like yes, or like me too, or like in theta, I want these, or drop an emoji, but they're like claim it, claim it, claim it, and it's so cute and kind of different than the way that our little community does it. But it made me laugh because yesterday it was popping up on my phone all the way until I was putting my son to bed, of claiming it, claiming it, claiming it. So like it's my I want this vibe, I want this energy, and I thought it was so sweet. This claim energy is very, very, very playful. Okay, Nancy saying, thank you, Sky. I was planning on doing a house clearing next weekend and 100% spot on about the fear of how my new loved ones will react. Thank you very much. Yeah, this is such a big fear. So we're going to call on Archangel Michael and just do a vacuum for everybody. Everybody that's, because there's so many of you, I think at least 50% of you listening are unconsciously afraid of being judged. And then, of course, that's what's going to manifest, right? So what we're going to do is instead, we're going to call the higher selves of everybody that we love in our lives, even the people that we haven't met yet, to come in front of us through a higher power. And we're going to ask all that is to give them the codes, the downloads, the sacred geometric shapes, and our new vibrational address, so that they feel included and part of our spiritual journey. We're also going to ask our higher self, our soul, and all that is, to clear any contracts and agreements that are no longer for our highest and best good, and to rewrite those contracts and agreements for those that still need to learn those things with others that are still at the level of learning that they are at, in the highest, best, gentlest, kindest way under the law of grace. Ooh. releasing them with grace, releasing them with love, releasing them with peace, releasing them with ease instead of with resentment or grief. There we go. And anyone in your intimate circle, so intimate circle is like best friend, husband, or like a really close boyfriend, partner, children, parents that you're close to, that you want to come on this journey with you. We're just going to ask and we're going to give to their higher self now all the codes, the healings, the downloads that you are receiving so that they can either up level and shift with you, or that still be a vibrational match. And we're going to give them the codes for celebration and collaboration instead of jealousy or comparison. Okay, so just say yes to receive that, and off we go. So a lot of the time, people don't energetically know that this is available to everybody. And the reason that humans get so triggered and so jealous is that they think you have something that they don't have access to, which is just a spiritual lie. They have access to everything that you have access to, but they haven't invested the time or the energy or the practice to be able to embody it or manifest it. That's the only difference, right? They have access to everything. They just have made different choices. And can be very hard to accept. Aisha saying, thank you, Sky. I laughed when you said I need to start facing my problems because I was arguing with myself about being brave earlier. Any advice on where to begin with nutrition and food? So, look, nutrition is simple. Eat living foods, make living green juices, clean the water, please, because the amount of hormones and pesticides and toxic chemicals that are being pumped into our drinking water, and the kind of drinking water that's being called clean is just a joke. So please clean your water. Get a really solid filter. But nutrition is simple. It's not about 9 times out of 10, it's not about adding things in. What you're adding in normally with nutrition is a really strong vitamins, a really strong digestive enzyme, and really good probiotics and prebiotics, and really good minerals. Most of nutrition is actually letting things go. It's letting go of the junk food. It's letting go of the the food that has no nutritional content or value. I'll give you an example. So there was, wait 1 second. I'll give you an example about how nutrition is more about letting things go than it is about adding anything in. So there was an experiment done where they made noodles from scratch at home, and then they got store-bought noodles. And the people that were given the nutrition, the noodles that were made at home from scratch, they put this tiny little camera inside the people's stomach so they could track what was going on. The people that were given the noodles that they made at home, within 2 hours, what you could see inside their stomach was this white froth, which meant all the noodles had been broken down, right? And they were absorbing everything they needed to absorb. The people that were eating the noodles that were bought from the store, 4 hours later, 5 hours later, 6 hours later, the camera could still see their stomach and their intestines working and working and working and working and trying to break this down. And it could not break the store-bought noodles down. Can you imagine the energy your body's putting into that? It's like 4 hours. Can you imagine just doing a 4-hour workout? How much chemicals, how much minerals, how much vitamins it takes to make the enzymes and the acid, and your body can't rest because it can't get this out and it can't break it down, and it could do damage if it can't do that. So much of good nutrition is cutting things out, and there's so much being released to the public as food now that I would go as far as saying has never been food. The other thing that they gave was like one of the people that were eating at home were drinking a glass of water, and the people that were eating out were drinking like a soft drink, and you could still see the blue inside their stomach from the soft drink, because the blue was petroleum based. and the body cannot break down petroleum, right? So people are dramatically underestimating the amount of poison that is in the food, the amount of poison that's in the makeup, the amount of, that's one of the reasons why I actually really like filters. Everybody else is going like, oh no, it's like causing beauty standard issues. And I'm like, that's a completely different topic. It may be causing beauty standards issues, but makeup existed long before filters. Beauty standard issues existed long before filters. This is a way that women can still deal with the abuse that they get around beauty without having to put toxic substances like lead, arsenic, and other chemicals on their face. The average woman is putting more than 4,000 toxic chemicals on her body between shampoo, hairspray, hair mousse, conditioner, setting spray, eyeshadow, eyeliner, cream, perfume. Like this is every day. It's an onslaught of endocrine destroying chemicals. So good nutrition is genuinely about removing the poison, removing the junk food, putting in raw living fruits and vegetables, and then your minerals, your vitamins, and your probiotics. Okay. It's not rocket science. It's just that you are genuinely, and I kid you not, being conditioned every day by the media, whether it's Instagram, TikTok, Netflix, the series that you watch, to eat crap, to drink alcohol, to neglect your body, right? And unless you are proactively coding yourself to eat fruits and vegetables, to stay away from toxic substances, to choose the natural things, you are, going to get sucked back into it because it's every day, it's all the time. It's, I was watching Big Bang Theory yesterday with my husband, and within one episode of Big Bang Theory, there was subliminal messages to buy Pepto-Bismol, to eat fast food more than 7 times inside one episode, because they had dinner more than 7 times and it was all fast food. One night was Chinese, the next night was Thai, the next night was pizza, the next night was, so they never cook, they always order out. But that is because the fast food companies are advertising through these programs. And it goes all the way back to Friends with, like, pizza. It's very, very common, and it's dark and it's subliminal. It's Penny always drinking alcohol, and she's the most beautiful one in the show and the most desirable one in the show, and she's always drinking alcohol, numbing her feelings with alcohol. There's all these subliminal messages coming in that if you're not aware of it, you're like, well, there's nothing programming me to be unhealthy. But actually, you may have just watched, especially if you did a marathon, 2 or 3 hours of programming that's training you to be unhealthy, and that's telling you this is what the people who are getting recognized and validated by society are doing, because that's what these TV shows do. We're like, oh, those people are making millions, they're getting recognized and validated by our culture, I want to be like them. And that's happening all on an unconscious level, right? And they eat pizza, and they eat junk food, and they drink alcohol. So why shouldn't I? Why am I going to deprive myself? And you don't even understand that that's what's going on. And they don't. Trust me, they do not. These celebrities do not eat pizza and drink alcohol every day. They do not, right? Just go and look at the stuff around Gwyneth Paltrow getting like the feedback that she's getting because she actually released what she eats. And basically, she's raw vegan and she does vitamin IVs and she fasts. Right, but that is not what you see in a movie. In movies that she makes, you see her eating burgers and chips and everything else, exactly because that is what they want to sell to the public. So subliminal marketing, subliminal selling is for real, and it's going into your brain. So if you're looking at shifting your diet, it's important to understand that you are getting hypnotized and programmed to engage in these behaviors. So unless you are proactively telling your mind and listening to hypnosis tracks and very clear on what you are eating and what you are doing, you are getting programmed every day to engage in these kinds of addictions and habits. Sorry, went on a bit of a rant there, but there you go. Gabrielle saying amazing. Thank you so much. The answer and the healing were so powerful. You're welcome, beautiful. Okay, I'm going to do one more. Okay, so Ariana saying, "Hi Sky, can you do a reading on my financial situation? I need to pay my children's school very soon." So I get like I really am getting a feeling that you are giving your power away. There's so much worry in your stomach. So can we just start by giving all the worry over to Archangel Michael, releasing any toxic beliefs that your money comes from another source, right? There's like I'm not sure if it's a partner or if it's a family member that gives you the money or something, but it's not you. And there's like the energy of it's not going to come, is not going to come. So let's just let go of where the money's going to come from. There we go. Okay. So that's moved really beautifully, actually. And we're like, there's a real fear that if you become financially successful, that you're going to have to leave your kids. So we're going to have to clear that. There are so many ways that you can make money, particularly whilst they're at school, and good money, like 3K, 4K, 5K a month, without you having to leave your kids or not being able to be a mom. Okay, thank God that we live in this time period. Thank God that that is available to us, because your presence as a mother is essentially is important. So that is correct. Your kids do still need you, okay? And you don't have to exchange time for money. You need to make a product, whether it's a mastermind or a journal, or you don't need many. You just need one, and you need to set up an online shop space, ideally like on Amazon, etc., where you don't need to worry about shipping or packaging or anything like that, so that you can start being able to control, being able to pay the bills and being able to give your children those opportunities. And that comes in very strong very often after they're born. I'm getting Archangel Gabriel here because she's like the one that really takes care of special like rainbow children, helping with this. So we're just going to do a clearing around that so that you know that your kids are worthy of being provided for and that you can provide for them. I'm also being shown that because your kids are special, you are being guided to really take a look as to whether or not this is actually appropriate for them, right? Is this appropriate for them? Is this style of schooling working for them? There's an element that this might be divine intervention. The school system at the moment is not prepared for what's coming. They've actually just in the UK they've just petitioned the government because of what's happening around AI. They are no longer prepared to be able to make children able to work and be able to protect themselves from bullying, protect themselves from the onslaught of competition that's coming. So there's a call genuinely going out to all parents right now to become really present and to be a bridge, which is very hard when we're already juggling so much. But at the end of the day, it's priorities, right? And for me, my kid goes even above money. So there has to be a space where you have to recognize, is this place giving my child an education, or is this place going to be the reason I'm paying for therapy for my child in the future? Because 75% of children experience a trauma so great inside the education system that it forever changes the course of their learning. Okay, so if your kid is not supposed to be in the school system and they are not coping well, it's not about forcing them to stay in a toxic and abusive environment. It's about changing your lifestyle so that they are able to learn in a way that is healthy for them, that is supportive of them, that is um, that is actually helping them, setting them up to be, successful adults, instead of leaving them in a system that is not equipped to prepare them for the world that's coming. because that's our job. Our job is to prepare them for the world that's coming. Their adulthood is going to hit at a time that's very different from our adulthood when it hit us. I remember my adulthood around, it was just when MySpace and Facebook were being born, and their adulthood is literally hitting in the avant-garde of AI. It's a completely different beast, and biotechnical warfare. So just be aware that sometimes the guidance is actually practical and it is around divine action. Okay, Monica's saying, while I'm not a healing facilitator and I don't think I've ever helped anyone with their healing either, this resonates in that I have a belief that whatever I do, it won't be successful or valuable. Yeah, and this manifests. If you believe it, then that becomes the case. And then you attract people in who believe that too. Because if anybody asks you about your job, right, regardless of what that job is, all jobs are healing, by the way, just so you know. I talk about it more in the metaphysical, you are a healer, light worker space, but all jobs are love. There is nothing you can do in life that's not love or fear. So when somebody asks you about your job, or even if somebody gives you a compliment, you'll brush it off. You'll tell them, oh, no, I'm not really good at that. And then that person is not going to keep giving you compliments indefinitely. That you're going to switch them out for somebody that appreciates you less, right? So it's important. If you don't speak well of yourself, then you'll attract people who don't speak well of you either. Monica saying, like a sense of doom that other people have something valuable to offer, but not me. I'm working on this. I can be stubborn. My love, this is like this is like growing up in a narcissistic family. This belief that you have nothing to offer. This comes from narcissistic parenting. So I would look at the book, Will I Ever Be Enough? For adult children of narcissistic parents, to helping you heal this, because this is not a small thing to heal. And it's to do with like being compared to other children, but also to do with narcissistic parents treating sometimes another sibling and sometimes other people's children better than their own children, as a form of abuse. I want to change job and I'm afraid to take the step. So the angels are saying it's okay to be afraid, right? What you want to keep doing is praying, handing the fear to them, and taking the divine right action. I am not devoid of fear. I told you guys, I get afraid when my friends are in trouble. I get afraid for my family, for all kinds of things. I'm sure that even Jesus got terrified. He was sobbing in prison before they put him on the cross. Being a powerful spiritual being is not the absence of fear. It is the presence of courage, and the moral courage to follow your divine guidance, even when the chips are down, even when it's scary, even when it's hard. It's not the absence of fear. Okay, that's an unrealistic, perfectionistic expectation. I got Rhodelia, but missed the other adaptogen you mentioned, chaste tree, also known as Agnus castus. Um, these ones these ones are specifically for women's health. Don't worry, when you get, so I made a list, a diseases list for the Medical Intuitive Mastermind, and there's a specific list of protocol herbs for the healing feminine issues, and that's on the list. Chaste tree is one of the oldest hormone balancing adaptogenic herbs for women, but there are many, like lady's mantle is another one. Like God always provides in abundance. There's not like one medicine or one adaptogenic herb. That's just what we get sold with people's marketing, but there are many, often one per country. Okay, let's do our closing prayer. O Great Spirit, Father Sky, Mother Earth, the winds, the waters, my Father, my Mother, Atanaha, all that is. We thank you for our lives, and we thank you for these good people. We thank you for all that we are and all that we are to become. We dedicate our time spent together and our relationships with one another to you. We ask that our suffering be ended and our pain be lifted, to the love and to the peace that lay beyond. Aho, Amen, Namaste.